So I remember this story about a weather forecast competition where you had to write a formula, figure out using data what the most accurate forecast was for the weather going into the future. And the winner of the competition, their formula was that tomorrow's weather is going to be the same as today. And I think when predicting into the future about a lot of things, this is a very good lesson to remember. Things will 100% change, but they will often change slower than you think, or more likely that if you predict tomorrow is going to be the same as today, you're going to be accurate more often than you're going to be wrong. However, things will definitely change. So in this video, I want to talk about things that I think are changing in the cold email space, my predictions for 2026, and what I think will be the most successful types of campaigns to run in the coming year. Let's get into it. So some thoughts about 2026. People will still use emails for business, and because of this, cold email will still work. So as long as businesses are using email, then you'll be able to cold email them and you will be able to get in front of them. And so cold email will still work. What we are seeing is like internally, people are using Slack, Teams, all these other channels. And personally, people are using emails less. So it is getting faded out in the B2C realm, but I do think that from a B2B perspective, it's still going to be there. And I can't really see that changing anytime soon. I think the cat and mouse game of inboxes and inbox placement is going to keep happening. They're going to keep testing. People are going to keep redefining how to get cold emails in. Google and Microsoft mainly are going to be the ones who are figuring out how to do the best job filtering it as possible so users of their product get the best experience possible. That means good cold emails are still going to get in. Bad cold emails are going to get flagged as spam, and this cat and mouse game is going to keep happening. Things are going to keep happening. Things are always going to get resolved, and this game's going to keep going with AI. I think data is going to get cheaper, in my opinion. So people are freaking out, or were freaking out, because the free Apollo scrapers or the very cheap Apollo scrapers are down. There will be new data sources, and they're likely going to be cheaper because data can get sold infinite times, right? And so the real cost just comes in keeping the data up to date. And if a company can keep the data up to date, they can sell that data to everyone, and they can just compete on price. And so I think prices for data are going to keep getting cheaper. I think that inboxes are also going to get cheaper as agencies realize the cost of saving by setting up their own SMTP providers. I think that more sophisticated companies are going to figure out ways to get inboxes for cheaper. And so I think inboxes are going to keep getting cheaper. So I think stimulus fatigue will keep rising, both for the medium of cold email itself, as more and more cold emails into the space, and particular offers. So you'll see that playbooks that get run, like we've seen lots of playbooks that we ran at the beginning of 2025, by the end of 2025 are starting to get stale. And like 12 months is a pretty good run for an offer to have, but that's going to keep churning and tipping over as the whole total addressable market sees the offer, gets compelled, and then a percentage of them get burnt by the offer essentially because people aren't delivering on that offer. So that's typically how these playbooks play out. If the market keeps getting really good value from that offer is going to keep working. So make offers that you can fulfill on. As more sophisticated cold emails are sent, as companies become more sophisticated, smaller players will likely be squeezed out, in my opinion. This is because more sophisticated companies will be able to send better quality emails, and they'll be able to send better quality emails because they have more resources, so they can figure out what works better. They also have more oversight of the market as a whole, and have seen lots of different campaigns play out, and so they're able to take learnings across the portfolio and apply them to companies. And they'll also be able to get discounted prices at scale, which means that they can send more volume for the same price, which means they're sending more volume and better quality emails. And so they're just going to keep winning against people trying to break into the space. Companies without product market fit or without the appetite to find product market fit will continue to struggle. And this is typically smaller companies, because typically companies that are doing 10, 20, 50, $100 million plus a year in revenue, they obviously already have some sort of product market fit. Now, maybe it hasn't been completely rewritten to fit cold email, but there is a market for people to buy their thing. Smaller companies don't necessarily have a proven market that wants to buy their thing, and they don't have the capital or the resources to try and figure out how to do that. And so they will probably struggle in 2026. They struggled in 2025, they struggle in 2024. It's not like this is a new thing, but they will continue to struggle if they don't have product market fit. So the eye of Sauron, which is what I think of when, let's say, younger people go into YouTube and think, how can I make money online, is moving away from cold email. I think 2024, 2025 was pretty heavily focused on cold email, as well as a bunch of other things, but it started to move towards like AI automation agencies and this sort of thing. So that'll mean that there's probably less younger people getting into the space, which will have an impact because there's probably going to be less players or people are going to be moving out of the space. That being said, that market share is going to be just taken up by these growing companies that essentially are winning in the space. I think Gen Z, by far the most entrepreneurial generation, they are always going to figure out new ways to get products to work, how to sell products, how to price products. All these new things are going to come to the fore because they're hungry, young, and coming into the space. I consider myself Gen Z, even though I'm right on the border. But I think we're going to see less of those people coming to the space, more of them going to other things, and a bunch of them moving into other things as they try and find their footing in business and in entrepreneurship. With all of this in mind, I think there is a few approaches that people are going to start diving deeper into as a way to have a foothold and an identity when it comes to cold email in 2026. Think about like Taylor and check out his YouTube channel. He's got some really good stuff there. Product market fit and volume to find the right timing. So what that means is a lot of testing, and typically what he'll do is he'll look at a total addressable market. Let's say it's 2 million, and from what I've seen, he works with a lot of companies with big TAMs. So let's say it's 2 million people that you can reach out to. He'll try and hit that every 8 weeks, or he changes the amount of weeks, but he hits it relatively frequently, typically with one email. And so he's sending a large volume, doing a lot of testing, finding product market fit and scaling out on real big numbers. You could think about Mitchell or Eric, which is finding very specific bits of copy through using a lot of data and context. And that means that you can get really good results for companies with slightly smaller total addressable markets. Maybe it's just a very sophisticated product or a sophisticated offering to a sophisticated buyer. Or you can focus on building trust through outbound, sending looms, personalized video messages, personalized voice messages, multi-channel approaches to build trust, and then use that trust to work towards a sale. This is what we're focusing on. We're also diving into sending higher and higher volumes. In 2026, we already have 3 clients, which we're looking to do 1 million emails a month for. So we're moving into that higher volume game because we're seeing really good results with it. If you do have product market fit already, you might as well just scale it to the moon. So what are you looking at when you're trying to build the best possible campaign in 2026? So this is what we're looking for. Firstly, you must have this like holistic understanding of the game. What we're trying to do is find an arbitrage opportunity. And by this, what we mean is you run the numbers, and if you spend $10, you make $100, and there's some time and effort in between, and that makes sense. It makes sense to spend the $10 plus this time and effort to make this $100. And then you're trying to find situations where that exists, where you can scale it. Because if the system only allows you to put in $10 a month, it's not really worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. But if the system allows you to put in $10 million a month, and you can make $100 million out or something, then there's a clear arbitrage opportunity and you want to jump on that. You are emailing people who do not know or trust you. Like, this is the foundation of cold email. They do not know or trust you. It's cold, okay? You need to understand that when you are writing your copy, you're figuring out how you want to email. This is the backdrop of the game that you're playing. They're getting emails every day like yours. You're not super special. Like, you might think you have a brilliant mind for copywriting. So do lots of people. If you're using AI to write your copy, somebody else can also use AI to write their copy. Are you the only business in the world that sells your product? And do you have product market fit? Then that's fantastic. If you're the only person that sells your product and you don't yet have product market fit, potentially people don't want to buy that product, right? So you're gonna have to take some risk to figure that out. Typically, they're getting emails every day like your email. Solving outbound is extremely valuable for your business. So this is the other thing. Finding this arbitrage opportunity. Let's say you're a business and someone said, hey, if you give me $10, I'll give you $100 through cold email, guaranteed, through selling your product. And some of those customers that you fulfill for then refer their friends, this sort of thing. It's extremely valuable to be able to find that for your business. So that's the holistic understanding or the backdrop that you must have moving into 2026. Have a good offer for something with a large TAM and large LTV. So this is kind of like what you are looking for. A good offer is something that is appealing to the outbound market, something that's appealing to the outbound market. And that's super broad, but it's also super complex to find this. So if you have something that is appealing to somebody that does not know or trust you, that is going to probably be a winner for cold email. A large TAM, I've said ideally 100K plus, but you can get cold email to work with a total addressable market TAM of 20K plus. And typically you want to send a larger volume. So you'd split this into 4 or 2 if you're being really aggressive, and that would be your monthly sending. If you want to build the best campaign possible, you want to send as much volume as is tolerable by the market. And essentially that means you don't want to email them every day. That's too much. Every week is too much. Every 2 weeks is too much. Every 3 weeks is too much. Every 4 weeks is too much. Every 5 weeks, maybe you're getting onto the bounds of that's tolerable and okay for the market to receive an email from you every 5 weeks. What most people do is every 3 months, some people do every 2 months, some people do every 6 months, and that is going to give you the maximum sending volume. The best campaigns, you're going to be reaching the maximum sending volume. This maximizes the amount you can send. We've found that sending every 4 months, so we're typically quite conservative, but we're moving into being less conservative and more risky. We've found that sending every 4 months has very little drop off, and we've heard from others that you can send every 8 weeks. Scrape to give you the best coverage. So this is going to be industry dependent, but if you're trying to build the best campaign possible, the thing you care about most is coverage. Of the 100,000 people that I can help, how many of them can I get verified emails? And as you move towards the margin, as you move towards the limit of 100,000, it's going to get exponentially harder to find the emails. And so a really good coverage is like 70%. That's really good coverage. So that's what you're looking for. Then you're also looking for accuracy, and you're obviously also looking for cost, because the cost of getting the data is going to impact the arbitrage opportunity, because it's going to make it more expensive. Email copy. This is what I recommend for email copy moving to 2026. You want to send a simple first email with the offer, and 3 lines of text is typical here. And again, this is just best practices in my opinion. Hey, first name, I saw that Jose left an unfair 1-star review on 10th of November. We can potentially get that removed. Would you like us to look into it? Very simple, clear what the offer is. Why you want it to be short is it looks like Outlook specifically really heavily favors much shorter text. So that's one part. The second part is people get emails all the time. They typically don't, and I say typically because we've had some very good success with very big, long, chunky emails. They typically like short emails which are to the point. They know it's a cold email. You're not tricking them that it's their colleague actually emailing them. They know it's a cold email. You want to be clear why you're emailing them. What we're also going to be doing is personalized landing pages. And I'm just going to quickly draw out how we think this is going to fit. You're going to do cold email, and then what we're going to do is we're going to send them a sender page. And what sender looks like is this, which is going to be a video which is personalized on the prospect's website, but it also populates first name and company name and whatever other variables you want to. And what that's going to do is it's going to get them to watch a video and build trust. And then from there, we can also set up a trigger such that anyone that's landed on this page, we send them a LinkedIn connection request. We can also embed YouTube videos, etc. down the bottom of this page, such that they watch YouTube content, maybe some LinkedIn content, and this is going to build trust over the long term to essentially get them to book in a call. So that's how we're doing it, and you can see from what I've set up here, this is the trust building outbound approach. We're looking to do like a trust building outbound approach with lots of volume, so that's kind of the play that we're looking to run in 2026. So I recommend using it. So send the second email to a personalized video. This is going to be the first email, something short, sweet, to the point, clearly portraying the value. And then in the second email, you're going to send them to the sort of landing page, and we're going to leverage the carrier pigeon effect, which essentially is saying that if the message is delivered in a novel, exciting new way, it's going to carry more weight. If this was sent to you via email, or if it was tied onto a carrier pigeon and sent to you via carrier pigeon and dropped on your desk, you are 100% going to read it. You're going to be interested. You're probably going to read it a few times. You're probably going to reply, because the mode of delivery is novel and new. And so if you can find new ways like this to deliver messages, then that in itself is going to carry weight. So you can also put retargeting pixels on these pages. The goal of the video and the landing page is to build trust. And then here is an example page. Hey, I made a video for you. We connect hardscaping companies, etc. Then some YouTube videos. The last thing that is going to be required more and more and more and more, especially for next year, is to take the lead nurture as serious as the cold email. Stuff is still getting noisier and noisier and noisier. You want to take lead nurture seriously. You want to reply as quickly as possible. You want to call prospects. You want to send prospects looms. You want to connect with them on LinkedIn. This is the most undervalued part of the cold email equation. Our best clients just call prospects. They just call prospects when they come in. And if that's not appropriate in your industry, and that is totally fair, then respond quickly and respond in ways that build trust. Respond in richer mediums that build trust. Send them a personalized video. If you are looking to have a complete cold email system built for you in 2026, then you can have a chat with somebody in our team to see if the way that we do it is a good fit for your type of business and the types of clients you want to attract. And you can do that by booking a call with us below. If you want to see our exact cold email system, there should be a 90-minute video on screen now where you can watch and walk through everything step by step. I'll see you there. Peace.